additional marketing opportunities and billboards that he is taking out billboards based on his own dime. He believes in the event. He's excited. He's on board. GCAT's temporary lighting. Daddy-O's is the name of the grill and restaurant in. I don't know if they're technically Flower Mound or Louisville, but over by the golf course on 407. They're providing all of the sound. Waverly Plastics providing all of the trash bags. Still working with the ticket on getting them out there to have a vendor booth and to do the promotions and to do the interviews. We'll have 4 Dallas Cowboy players out there and a movie celebrity that we'll talk about on a different spreadsheet. So all together, including web implementation, we're at about $13,400 worth of donated goods to date that's recorded. On cash sponsors, you see the list to the far left and the amounts that we have received or have in writing that it's coming. Like Dermatology Associates of Denton, they are committed in writing to $1,000. They moved their office last week and the check is pending. Expect to have that in the next 2 weeks. We did receive Jay Adams $1,000 this week for Mansions and Hickory Creek. We got that. A wonderful donation from EDC. So we're well on our way. With cash donations to date, we're at about $4,700. I'll be transparent and tell you that this team works tirelessly with Volkswagen down the street in Louisville. And at the bottom line, they budget for all of their events in January, February of every year, and it's not budgeted for the $5,000 that are requested for them this year. They have told me no on $5,000. They have not told me no on any other level. So we're still working with them on asking them to possibly be a judge, possibly have a vendor booth. It's not a full and whole no, but it's a whole no on $5,000 today. Same with waste management. We met with Joe, and he has committed to something, but he also indicated it's been a tough year. His budget isn't what John Cliver's is, and he hasn't given us a response yet, but we do expect something from waste management. Joe Cumbie, we're going to try to meet with him in a couple of weeks. We purposely have left Joe off the list until the very end, so we kind of know what we really need. And right now, we think we'd like to ask for water and maybe food supplies for our volunteers. We'll talk about the volunteers on another sheet. We're looking for 60 to 80 volunteers, and right now I think we're up to 40, 37, 40. I'll get to that sheet. And then we also have some pending from Halfin Associates. Hopefully they might be able to help us a little bit.
We've also, sorry.
Yes, sir.
See, we also got Don't Get Genties and Quick Car.
Okay, two additional $100 sponsorships. So altogether, we're close to. We're right at 5,000 in hand with another. Well, we can easily triple that with 1 or 2 of these big ones. And I didn't mention Red Bull also. We've asked Red Bull for $5,000. We've worked our way up 4 different chains of command, and the final guy that we were working with is a gentleman named Saxon Mahan, who's the Vice President of Marketing for Red Bull. And today he was judging a cliff diving competition in Maui, so he was not available for comment, but this hit has gone to the top. We've actually proposed that they have their Red Bull cars leading traffic into and out of the park on Saturday with their little cars that have wings and stuff. So they also have not told me no. I think we will get them on board. We're just not there yet with some of the details. So we're very aggressively working to get some big sponsorship money in here. Flip over to the budget. The original budget presented was $72,309. We revised it based on feedback from the council to $10,317. And with the sponsor opportunities that we have right now, we're at $78,78. You include the $2,500 that we have in Parks and Rec budget allocated for this event, and we're already making money without the big sponsors. The next, I guess it shows the cash.
Can you go back to that slide?
Yeah, that's, on this,
Okay, so revised budget is 10,317.
right.
And with, this is money that's already in, Chris?
The One with sponsorship opportunities is just kind of a wish list, you know, the light towers and generators and such. We have money budgeted for it, but we're hoping to get it done.
Yeah. This is your profit and loss right now, right?
Right, that's
5,000, right?
That's based off of the actual budget as it is without the donated light
Right.
towers and such for that.
Right,
But projected.
right.
And so then this is the actual profit and loss where we're at today. On the volunteer list, let's see here, we have a volunteer coordinator, Porter Walker, who was basically assigning and asking everybody what role they would like to take. Not included on this list are there's a Boy Scout troop here locally that's going to help us. There's a Boy Scout troop in Irving that's going to help us. So that's easily another 10 to 15 volunteers that are on the hook. And then we anticipate whichever big sponsor takes the hook, if it's Red Bull or Waste Management or whatever, we're asking them to bring their employees as some volunteers as well for different roles. And then something that Tom had a really good idea that in between each act, he's going to get up on stage and tell everybody he wants to see butts in the air, everybody pick up trash and hug a tree. So we think we're going to have all of the little meaningless tasks of trash taken care of. And I didn't go into this, but Joe James did donate 25 cardboard 3x3 containers to put in the camping areas, the winter areas in the park. We do have the rollaway dumpster ready to go, and then we've got the trash bags donated. We've got 3 to 4 off-road vehicles donated so far to help collect that trash. Trying to make it as easy a burden on Public Works as possible. I think we'll have a lot of volunteers to do most of that trash duty and at least get it into the centralized roll-off dumpster. Vendors. Let's see here. Here's a short list of vendors. We still have a little bit of work to do here. And I actually wrote out something that is not in a tab today. We've got 11 actual vendor booths signed up today, and I'll go through them real quick. One of them is it's an anti-aging product. There's a barbecue guy, a jewelry lady, Boys and Girls Club of Denton County doing their annual Christmas wreath fundraiser. Alan Cordry with Phone Box, he's going to be out there, and he is bringing. What tab is celebrities under? Is that under the schedule? There it is. Okay, so Alan Cordry is bringing Ernest James, the actor from Friday Night Lights, Corey Proctor, Mike Kieslak, Dixon Edwards, Charlie Williams, some Super Bowl champions out there to sign autographs at 1 o'clock on Saturday. The intent is just to capture maybe a little bit different audience that might not typically come out for a Volkswagen show. And this is something that the town is not doing this. This gentleman is doing this as a vendor. He is a vendor, and his product is these celebrities for paid autograph signs. Okay. Let's see. We've also got a Remax booth, a Mansion on the Hickory Creek booth. Also, altogether, we've got 11 people that will actually have a vendor booth of some sort today. We still need some additional craft type vendors and some additional food vendors that we're working on. I think right now there's some people that just don't want to commit so far out. But we've sent an email to, say, over 40 vendors that were at other Lake Cities events in the past, and many of them we've talked about is just a variable with the last weekend of October. If they want to commit to it, they'll commit to it later in October, later in September.
Correct. And also, Chris, you don't even know yet, Tom just signed up a vendor coordinator that's a new resident in town. He's got some background in this, so he's gonna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's actually done really big shows. What do you call it? It was a big show that's down in Dallas that everyone's heard about, and I'm getting old and can't remember the name.
Okay.
But he was actually deeply involved in coordinating that. He's a marketing guy for Sprint. He's very interested in getting involved in this, so he just moved to town. And I made sure that he wasn't, all talk, and he really was going to commit. And he seems honest.
Okay.
So I would,
I'll always take an extra volunteer.
Yeah.
All right. And then, let's see, camping. We've got one lady who's looking at bringing 10 to 15 today. It's a bus organization. Is this the one in San Antonio, or is this the local one?
That's the local one over Pine Point.
Okay. If you don't mind, spend 2 minutes telling this group about what our subject matter expert has to say about the camping registrations.
Okay.
When that rolls in, how that happens traditionally.
Okay. Our subject matter expert is a man named Matt. All right, I met him on 2 or 3 different occasions, and he has been doing VW air-cooled shows probably for 20, 30 years, and he's actually run them and put them on himself at least 10 years. Okay, but he's gotten out of it the last couple of years. And one thing, and also the people that we have hired to actually run this particular car show, is something that they actually discovered in their time of putting this together, is that asking people at these car shows to actually sign up early, that far in advance, and pay, gets nobody there. Because if for some reason their car should break down and they can't make it, getting the money back to them is pretty hard. He has, this VW Matt has actually contacted different VW clubs around the area. Now, you may not know it unless you're actually involved in it, and I didn't realize this either, but this VW show it's like a hidden cult. Okay, they have these shows practically every weekend, year round. Okay, and that's why we had to pick this one far enough in advance to pick the weekend we did, because there's some scheduled weekends all around us. Okay, you put the word out to them, word of mouth, it gets them there. And he has told me and told Eric that he's expecting 100 to 150 VWs that weekend. He goes, we may have even more, we may have upwards of that, but I would count on at least that many. And this is a man who's been doing this forever. Now, he's not going to guarantee that. Nobody can guarantee that, okay? But we've been to a few different shows. I've been to some, Eric's been to some, and we've talked to the people there. And we asked them, did you have these people register? No, they won't register. They had 600 people show up, okay? Now, we don't have to accept 600 people. We can cut it off at 3, okay? Like the Dove Splash down there. This is only their second year. They had 600 people there this year, okay? And they didn't have live band stuff like we do.
That was at Sandy Lake Park.
And that was at Sandy Lake Park, okay? So, I know that there's been some questions, is like, why aren't we getting some of these car show people signing up? That's not the way it's done in this particular little industry, if that's what you want to call it, is they just don't sign up, they just show up. And if there's a cutoff, if we were to say, we're only going to take the first 300, we may get some people to sign up, but that's not, we can't be guaranteed that. Worst case scenario, okay, is we don't have that many show up, but we still have a concert on Saturday pulling in dollars. We're still going to have vendors. We're still going to have people coming to watch the bands. Okay. I'm not expecting that to happen though. I was kind of concerned at first too until I went to some of those shows and talked to the people there. They're like, we tried getting them to sign up the first couple of years. It didn't work. So we tried doing, sign up without paying. That was even worse. So we just say, just show up, pay for it at the gate. And they've said it's a success every time. But supposedly these VW things, it's like a cult, man. They're all over the place.
Thanks, Tom. Let's look at the schedule real quick. And like I said, there's plenty that could change. But in general, Friday night is only for vendor setup and for campers to roll in from 5 to 9:30. After 9:30, the gates are closed. Saturday morning, gates opens, vendor and camper 7 a.m. and we'll go till 9:30, 10-ish after Swan Song. Everybody, we've got several different colors of wristbands. There'll be a different wristband for the campers versus the day people versus the volunteers. So we will know who should be hanging out after the end of the concert. We will know who's a camper and who needs to be heading back to the parking area. And then Sunday, 8 a.m. general admission, Sunday's all about the car show and the swap meet. The swap meet is just something that these little car clubs do together. They set up their own little card table and they sell miscellaneous parts. And we take a $15 take for each person that enjoys the swap meet. The car show tab, Christie, is a whole lot about stuff that I don't know, but apparently this is what you do, the different classifications for judging. And then we have a professional group that does the dash plaques, that does the judging, that does the announcing. And all of this will be taking place in the camping areas. These buses, the sleeper buses that come in, they don't move. Once they come in Friday night, they don't move. So they'll be judged where they camp. So our judges will be walking the entire park area for the competition. I really don't know much more about that. We're paying for a company to manage that and make sure that it's a good professional event and that we have a good reputation at the end of it.
And they have a good reputation.
Yeah.
And they're cutting us a break too, by the way.
And we did shop this out to 3 or 4 different other professional organizations to get the best bang for the buck.
And this is what they do.
What have we forgotten? Safety. The group has met with Roger several times. We've met with Chad Thiessen. We've got all of our policies in place. They're posted on the web. You have to accept it when you register. We're accepting our policies. We've got new signage being made currently, professional signs for the park. What other concerns in a quick 15, 20 minutes do you have? What do we leave out?
Chrissy, can you go back to the budget tab so we see that? Right there on the
Okay.
Is the $10,300 the total estimated cost for the town? I mean, the total estimated cost for the...
That's what they're,
Yeah, the $10,317 is how much we figure right now everything is going to cost us. Of course, we're still hoping to get some other sponsorship from, perhaps some water from Walmart. We have an event trailer rental plugged in there right now, but we're talking to Explore, USA, RV, Super Center, and Corinth. It's looking like they're going to provide us with one of their RVs to have as an event trailer. Where all the cash will go back into that event trailer that's collected at the gate. We'll be kind of a go-to place for all the lost and found and everything else.
Central location for volunteers to check in and out as well.
We listed that as a vendor opportunity because we don't have 100% commitment yet. So that third column over there is just kind of a wish list of, we think we can get light towers and generators donated. If not, we're allocating $1,500 to pay for some. I think we can probably get some help on that. And then the event trailer, and we're hoping to get some refreshments out of Walmart.
We will get an event trailer from somewhere
Yeah.
that we don't have to pay for.
We had budgeted for an on-site manager. At this time, we're not expecting to have to pay for that. We had budgeted for the website. At this time, we're not having to pay for that. This is as close a projection as we've been able to come to over the last 2 months. And we've met every week since the last council meeting.
So under volunteer refreshments, is that meals for your volunteers?
I think you name water and such as that, whatever they can really help us out with. Water is a big thing that we're going to have there. Our volunteers are asking them to work 2-hour shifts, so that there'll be plenty of opportunity for them to go home and get something to eat, or, it's not
Or go to the food
stuck
bank.
out there all day.
4 hours worth of shift gets them a wristband of where they can enjoy the show on Sunday, all day Saturday. We're just asking for a minimum of 4 hours.
I saw my name on the list.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, I went ahead and took the liberty of adding everybody I knew to the committee list.
sense that yes, they can be there that weekend.
Do you want to go through it in itemized?
No, I'm just asking.
Basically,
Everybody but council members has personally stood up and said, I want to be a part, I want to be there, this is what I want to do. I want to do stage management, I want to pick up trash, I want to ride in the golf cart and do security. We do have a CERT coming out, or Brenda Bromley's group, working with her. We do have Citizens on Patrol coming out. And then we've gone with the chief's recommendation from the officers at the event. Citizens on Patrol will be there 24 hours along with an officer.
So who will sign up for Citizen Patrol that will be there?
We've got 11.
We've got a meeting next Tuesday, our first training session, a little more in terms of numbers.
We've got at least seven brand new people for the class, or is it more than that now? Who knows?
Is this the same weekend as the Spirit of Dallas run? I mean, Spirit of Christmas? I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah.
It is. Because Suji May volunteer for security, but she says she will be afternoon before she can be there because of the morning run.
Medical?
Yeah, Chad said, when we told him we were expecting 500 to 600 people, he kind of laughed at us that we were as concerned, felt we were being a little overprotective, but he said, you come in, I'll have an ambulance posted there all day.
Parking. Where are we gonna park?
So, we,
I
what's that? Fight Club. We do have parking resolved. We have a commitment from a local landowner that will be able to park on their 9 acres that is very close by.
And traffic in it.
That's correct. The traffic flow has been approved by Roger. You want to present that real quick, Tom, or
Yeah.
Charles?
Sure.
What our plan is?
We have, you know where Hickory Creek Road, or Sycamore Bend Road comes to the T and goes right into the private and then goes left towards the park? We're gonna have roadblocks set up right there. We're gonna have a couple volunteers down there. And every 15 minutes, we're gonna let traffic go in one way. Next 15 minutes, we'll have it coming out the other way. Earlier, when you heard Councilman Gordon mention we would be possibly using the Red Bull cars to lead, they'll kind of be like the pace cars leading down into the park and then coming back. During high traffic times, whenever we are expecting a lot of people to be coming in, we will then of course have traffic one way for like an hour. Of course, we'll have radios between those people and the people at the front taking money. And if an emergency occurs, whatever like that, we'll immediately shut down the traffic flow so the emergency vehicle can get out or whatever, get in or get out. That'll, like I said, every 15 minutes, a quarter hour and quarter till the hour, or quarter after a quarter till goes one way on the hour, and half after the hour it flows the other way.
So it's the one lane, right?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
because we don't have access out the other way.
So the only, well,
We're just gonna have to manage it.
We'll have to manage
if
it,
they're
you know.
buses, that's good. If they're small cars, it's great. If they're big stuff, we're in trouble.
So all of the big stuff the vendor trailers and buses that are being pulled should all be in there Friday and not be leaving till Sunday. They shouldn't be moving around in the park once they're there because they're being judged in their location where they're camping.
Buses drive in them, or are they being driven in? Like-
Both. There's some buses that are just for competition and they're not, they're too pretty to drive.
So when they park on their trailer or on their,
They park in the camping area and they're there until Sunday afternoon.
not unloaded, but that.
Oh, they'll be unloaded there, and then they'll have to go move their trailer, to the parking area.
I guess my only thought process is on the road over there. Is there a way for someone to pull over on the side if they had to? Is there enough
No, we don't have
fill,
to,
dirt, anything that's?
there don't have to be one-way traffic. I mean, you can, but if it's
Very
low,
difficult.
if it's Volkswagen Beetle, they're gonna hang up high center. If it's a truck, you can get over.
What happens today when it's open to the public? 2 trucks pulling a boat, one of the trucks in the boat's in the ditch.
I agree.
It's the same as it is open to the public today,
Is there any,
except we're gonna be there to manage it.
is there any dirt fill that we can use that's gonna put on the side of the road to
shore up some areas, you know.
It'll all wash
Any
away.
roads that are being redone that I don't know of, or any construction companies that are saying,
Problem with doing that, you're gonna have to vegetate it or SWIFT lands, because if you put that in there and it grows way into the lake, and so, I don't know.
Yeah, we thought long and hard about this now, Kenny, and we really are gonna have to manage it, and that's something that we're just gonna have to, make sure of. And we do have that one pull-off area that's there now, that a lot of people use.
So, it's like the top start, when we did it.
Pardon?
Just like when we did the fishing tournament.
Right, like when we did the fishing tournament, we had all kinds of wide boat trailers.
I mean, it's plenty wide enough that we've been hauling gravel down there for the last week, working on the roads, that new truck. No problem getting down to it, the big trucks.
That's a lot of those stuff that's got to be worked out, I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot of work that's gone into this. The big question we talked about this 2 months ago was funding of the whole thing and making it happen. So if you don't get funded totally for where you need to be right now, where does the money come from?
We're effectively in the black at this point.
So the 5,000 in the red was what?
That's what it is for cash on hand.
That's without any sales, that's with nobody showing up to the concert, nobody showing up to the car show.
Okay.
Yeah, if no one shows up at the gate, we hear crickets, then, yeah, we'll be in the hole then. But right, but making that very, very conservative estimates, we're in the black.
And, you know, there's still more sponsorship money coming in every day. And now the word's getting out and things kind of getting legs. More people are jumping in. Half an associate's probably gonna help us out a little bit. I hope. And, you know, Mansions of Hickory Creek just signed up for 1,000. So, you know, things are starting to kick off. We're not stopped.
We're not stopping.
For sure. We're still beating the bushes trying to get everybody to pitch in a little bit.
But I still, if it doesn't come in, and if something,
If it doesn't
If it
come in,
ends
we'll
up
have a
in-
great concert, we'll still make money selling tickets to music.
Well, looking forward to it, because if it turns out the way VW Matt says, there's going to be a lot of people here.
You know, I'm not trying to be trite here. I felt the same way you did about that in the beginning, until I went to a couple of these shows, and until Eric went to these shows, and we talked to the people that are running, and they said they just don't do it that way. That's not the way it's done. They show up, just, you know, like the Field of Dreams, you build it and they will come.
do you have that magic number, space available that you have to cut off?
We figured about 300, didn't we?
We did figure about 300.
That you're cut off?
We walked just the camping area alone, until you walk it, and you say, okay, here's 25 feet, here's 20, we got a lot of
We
room.
got a lot of room
In
out
that
there.
remote
yeah.
camping area, we can jam in 100 buses on one side, easy, before we even get to the point. So we did go out and walk it.
Let me ask you this, what is your backup plan on that 9 acres? Obviously, it's not gravel, if it does come a rain. Are we gonna let them be on their own?
Yeah.
Because if we, I mean,
We're gonna look to you for that recommendation.
the only thing, you know, we have a tractor out there, they're gonna have to sign, everybody's gonna have to sign a waiver or something like that, or, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're not gonna be able to get a wrecker out there either, so a tractor is really gonna be your only option. If, you know, in October,
With
you're
Matt
already
done
doing
in concert, we'll have enough four-wheel drives in that parking lot to pull people out.
And then you need to think about also, if it does do that, you run it all up, the expense of going back in there and fixing that property back.
Well,
I'm just going it all, you know.
Well, no, you have to throw it against the wall, see what sticks, man. That's something to concern about.
well, you know, maybe we need to add to our budget, park repairs after, you know, but hopefully we'll have money in the bank. That, you know, all that money's going back to the parks anyway, so hopefully we'll have funds to repair anything that gets damaged. And I know hope is not strategy, my boss tells me that every day. But, you know, at the end of the day, this town wants, you know, we've all said we'd like to have an event that sticks and is a nice, fun annual event and helps put us on the map. And, you know, maybe this is it, maybe it didn't, but we won't know if we don't try it. I'm asking council, let's take a risk, we've got a pretty good plan.
There's a lot of work going into it.
Kudos to the hours and to the communication has been pretty good. Communication is there, so that's a big, big plus.
I do have a real quick question. I thought I saw on something, no alcohol being sold in the park.
That's correct.
They can bring it in.
They bring it
They can bring it in.
There's, that core policy is no glass. So that's everybody, they have to check that when they register online to camp, they have to check that they're not breaking glass, and then we'll have security and citizens on patrol will be trained to check for and how to handle situations. You know, after seeing the event at our Lands and Waters, the Encore property, and I think we will manage it a lot better than what I saw there.
It's gonna happen, yeah.
Sorry.
I say it's gonna happen, I mean, it happens in the parks now, we got some.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, good question.
Thank you, thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to bids for Turbyville.
Are we acting on it?
Was there an act on that?
So that's in
Consider
there.
it.
All right, make a motion.
Well, my understanding was that, maybe we don't need that. I mean, I know that in a prior motion, I believe the